had to get your opinion on the. I feel like that picture kind of broke the broke the internet a little bit. What were your thoughts on it?
It definitely did, man. You know, I'm not an internet guy. I hate the internet. I mean, y'all my guys, you know, you and Jamil and them, man, but I just hate the overall time that we in where people will say anything for clicks, and I just hate it. So I don't indulge in the internet at all.
Yeah.
But I don't knock nobody for trying to make their money. But it's some people that lose their integrity on the internet. So I don't indulge. And yesterday I got a bunch of texts, a bunch of screenshots, like damn. And it definitely broke the internet. Like it definitely did. And I mean, I got Crawford in the fight, but it definitely shook things up. And it was a good move by Reynoso because if I was getting prepared for Crawford, I would use Boots as a sparring partner. If I was getting prepared for Boots, I would use Crawford as a sparring partner. I think that they're not exactly the same. No two people are, but they're very, very similar in styles with the switching, boxer puncher, killer mentality. They got a lot of things similar. So I think it was a good move by Team Canelo. And I got a kid that I train that box Boots, Crawford, and Canelo. So
Mm.
and obviously being from Philly, I done seen Boots in the gym uh for the last 11 years. Literally, the first time I ever hired him was in 2014 to spar Julian Williams. So I've been around him a long time. And I think it was a good move, I'm still rocking with Crawford, but I know some people that was like, man, I'm changing my pick now because that's like the best sparring you could get. And they showed them that Canelo is taking this fight super serious. So I respect everybody's opinion, but I'm still rocking with Crawford. I still think he's gonna pull it off. But that's definitely a good look, and it definitely shows that Canelo is taking this fight super serious. Because to get some work like that, I've seen you in Philly before, and you seen Boots work in the gym, and he's rough in the gym, bro. And he's rough in real fights, but
Yeah.
just to pull him in for sparring, like man, like it's rough. And people get mad at that when the people who get to see Boots every day talk about him. But I always say, like, why would I lie? I don't have no reason to lie at all. I don't train him. I don't get a check off of him. I'm not part of his team. All I do is say what I see. And he's a phenomenal talent. You know what I mean? And the people in the know better. But the people on the outside, they kind of like, we don't know. We don't see that. And I just be like, okay, it's not up to me to convince you. It's up to him to convince y'all to show you some of the things that we in Philly kind of get spoiled with and see on a day in and day out basis. So yeah, that's all I can say. It was a good move by Team Canelo, and it shows that they really want this fight.
I know from the very beginning you was taking Crawford. Um, but does the and you're still taking Crawford, but does it now play in the back of your head like because you did just say you're still taking Crawford, but in the back of your head, are you just like, okay, instead of it being like, let's just say your percentage was 60-40, maybe now it's 55-45.
I don't want to put it on numbers, but I'll put it in perspective. Like fights is won in the camp. You know what I mean? Like very few guys can just turn the switch on and don't do nothing in camp and then go look like $1 million in the fight. That's why fighters spend the kind of money they spend on sparring partners because getting the look or stimulating the intensity of how a fight is going to be is how you prepare for a fight. And the most important part of camp is sparring. So it didn't make me say that Canelo was going to win the fight, but it did make me say, damn, he's taking this fight serious, and that's a real good look. I respect the fact that he went out and got the best possible sparring he could find for Crawford to win this fight. I even respect when he did it, because if he would have got Boots early in camp, Boots would have probably beat his butt.
Mm.
You know what I mean? When you first come to camp and you're not sharp. So he got him a few weeks in the camp where maybe, what's how many weeks left for the fight? About 3 weeks left for the fight. This usually your peak time. So
Mhm.
he got him about 3 weeks left in the camp so he can handle the work. Because again, you've been up to Philly and you've seen the work. Boots don't have bad days in the gym. He stays in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
So like you could just get him off the streets and he'll go 10 or 12 rounds in the gym. He don't have bad days. I'm like I'm not just bragging. I'm not bragging about a kid that I don't train or he's not my son. I'm just telling the truth. Like I haven't seen him have like an off day in the gym in like 10 years. You know
And
how sometimes a guy don't look good and you be like, oh, okay, he not doing his best. He really don't have them days.
and
You know
the
what I mean?
and the crazy part about it is he does more than 3 minute rounds and he never sits down. Like never,
I,
man.
I, and I'm glad you said it because I get some nasty things said to me because I talk highly about the kid, but I don't know what people want me to do. Lie on him and hate on him
Yeah.
because, they don't see what I see. I don't know what they want me to do. It's almost like it's a weird phenomenon that's going on with him and his ability. Why he ain't fought nobody? Why he ain't this? I'm like, bro, don't got nothing to do with the man's team management, who he choose to fight, who he don't, what's going on behind the scenes. All I know is that he's a talented fighter. That's it. And I like I think it was smart what Canelo and them did. I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
Mhm.
Daniel Storr told me before he passed away that he used to hire a guy by the name of Maurice Harris,
Okay.
a sparring partner. He said he would hire him even if he wasn't going to use him. He would hire him, if I'm not mistaken, he told me he hired him when Lennox Lewis fought Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, short guy, come forward. Maurice Harris, I don't know if you know him, but he was a real slick boxer puncher from Jersey, man. He was nasty, but he had a journeyman record, but he could fight. He was super sharp. So man still told me he would hire him so the other teams wouldn't get him to get him prepared for Lennox Lewis, right? So again, I don't get nobody business, Hans, you know what I mean? Even though I got relationships with Boots team, I got relationship with Crawford team, but I kind of stay in my lane. When I saw that Boots was with him with Canelo, I said, damn, it probably would have been a good move if Crawford team would have sent Boots a check to say to keep him away from Team Crawford. I mean, Team Canelo, because that's the only guy that could prepare you at this level for Crawford. Now I know I'm thinking way ahead of time, but that's the art of skullduggery. That's how you know, that's how you become a successful team. That's why Emmanuel Stewart is the GOAT, you know, because he told me, he said Maurice Harris was the one guy that could get you prepared for Lennox Lewis. So I would hire him just so nobody else could use him.
Makes sense.
Smart. So
Make
when I seen that, I was like, damn, man. Now I know it's a little bit after the fact, but I was like, damn, Team Crawford might should have hired him. I remember Floyd hired Alex Ariza so Pacquiao couldn't use him and
mm,
fought. Smart. So, we'll see what happens. It's a fight. Reynoso been around a long time. He knows what he's doing, and it was a good move. That's all I can say. But I'm still rocking with I still think Buzz gonna win because guess what? It could go the other way. Boots might take a piece of Canelo in that gym. You know what I mean? So I'm not a fool. I've been around the kid. He's a big, strong kid, and he might take a piece of him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's one of the few guys who like that's at this level. That's a seven-figure fighter that's in the gym all the time. Sparring. He don't allow rust to get caught up on him. You know what I mean? He might gain weight in between fights, but he don't get rusty. So boxing him every day for a few weeks, you might leave something in the gym. So it could go both ways. We got to just see how that go.
is if Canelo wins, is this gonna be, and I know there's gonna be a lot of factors, but is this gonna be in your head the tipping point where you're just like, you know what? This might have been the point where he won this fight against Crawford.
That's what people gonna say.
Mm,
That's what people gonna say. Yep. I'm telling you. I'm not gonna say who it is out of respect, but a really, really influential figure in boxing. I'm not talking about nobody that walk around with their phone and and like talk shit about boxing. I'm talking about like a top dog, or a top guy in boxing was like, I gotta change my pick now. God damn it.
Wait, what?
He's like, I
Hey,
can't go. I can't go. That's a major move for a fighter Canelo's
oh,
stature, because most guys Canelo's age wouldn't even want to be bothered with no young kid like Boots. That showed me something. I'm like, damn, you changing your pick, and this dude gamble heavy,
hmm.
heavy, heavy. He said, I got to. I was like, damn. I said, I'm rocking with Crawford, but it definitely showed me that Canelo really want this fight. That's
But
what it shows me. He really want this fight.
but doesn't it like and I know you're picking Crawford. Doesn't matter if he brings in Godzilla, but doesn't it doesn't it change your, and I'm not trying to change your mind or anything like that, but doesn't it move it a little bit to where you was just like, I'm 100% confident Crawford's gonna win, or I'm 75% confident Crawford's gonna win. Doesn't it move you to, all right, I'm like 65% sure that Crawford's gonna win because you just said that how sparring is the most important thing in camp, and I think everybody knows that. And we all know that you think that Jaron is the most talented fighter you ever seen in the gym. So wouldn't that make you say, I'm 75% sure before he got him with a few for a few weeks? I'm like 60% sure now. Still taking Crawford, but
I'm
I'm
saying it I'm saying it how I'm saying it because I'm not doing it in percentages. I'm saying that it raised my awareness that Canelo really wanted to fight, but it also there's there's always more than one outcome when something is done, and fucking with Boots could also make him leave something in the gym. It
mm,
can. It could also mess up his confidence a little bit.
mm,
So it could go both ways. So it didn't really change my percentages. It changed my perspective on how bad he wanted to fight. I don't know how good, and hear me out, I don't know what the effect of the sparring is going to be, because it could sharpen him up or Boost could take his confidence.
mm.
You understand what I'm saying? It could go two ways. He could leave a little piece of himself in the gym, or he could start getting countered with shit that he wasn't getting countered with before, or it could make him sharper. He could go up to the next level. It could go both ways. You know what I mean? I saw Triple G in the gym when he was getting ready for Canelo. And I kind of knew he was going, even though I thought he won the first fight, I knew he was going to struggle because he had too much heat in the gym.
Mm,
He had killers in the gym. He was boxing five dudes, uh, 4 minute rounds up in Big Bear. Uh, I'm sorry, four or five dudes, three 4 minute rounds a piece. Everybody was world class, including Julian Williams and Karan Davis. They was in his camp. Two other guys was in there. They was killers too. This was in 2016, 2017. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, that might be too much work.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It got to the point where it was hard work for him, because I'm not saying any of them could have beat him in a real fight, but they was just going 3 rounds all out. Then you get to put a new fresh body in. So they got the advantage.
yeah, yeah.
And over time, I was calling him on the phone. I flew out to Big Bear to watch the work. Triple G looked good, but I'm like, that's a lot of work, bro.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work that you're getting, even for a great fighter. So it could go both ways, is what I'm telling you. I didn't change my percentages. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think it's going to be a hard fight. Canelo is very explosive. He's very strong. He's very slick. I think he's actually more naturally defensive than Crawford, as far as like being able to take something off the punches and things like that. Canelo, what Canelo don't have is better feet and legs than Crawford. So his defense don't look as good, because Crawford got good feet where he can move in and out and move around. But just reflexes and taking the steam off of punches, Canelo might be better than Crawford defensively. Um, He's used to fighting at the weight, and he's a great, great fighter. And he's been in with better competition than Crawford. Let's just be honest. So I don't think this is going to be an easy fight. I just think Crawford is special. And I think that he has a special gear that he could go to and a special place that he could go to despite another guy may having some advantages of weight, better competition, stronger, better puncher. I think he got that special thing about him where he could just go an extra little place where he could just overcome that on that night. And very few fighters got it. And I might be giving him credit for something that he don't have. You know what I mean? But my instincts tell me that Crawford got it. It tells me that he got something special, because like I said, I got a kid that sparred both of them, and he'll tell me like, Crawford got better conditioning, and he got little things that he do, but Canelo hit a little harder, and Canelo is harder to hit with your best shot. You know what I mean? But Crawford is special, and my observations, because I don't put nobody eyes over my own. I think Crawford could pull it out, but by no means I don't. I think this is an easy fight. Canelo is a great, great, great fighter, and it wouldn't shock me at all if he won. But I think Bud is special. We're gonna see on the 13th, and if I'm wrong, I'll just stand on it. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be he gonna have to have a great, great, great night to pull this off. But I think late in the fight, his conditioning will kick in. Even though he's carrying the weight, we got to see how he carried the weight. I know that that's a hell of a variable and factor how he can overcome putting on this weight. Um, but I think he can do it. Hopefully, his team they put the weight on right. It don't slow him down, and he can have the same conditioning he had at 147 pounds. It's a big if, though. It's a big if. It's a monumental task, and I know it. So I don't want anybody to think like I think Crawford is going to just absolutely wash Canelo. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe nobody in history could wash Canelo for exception of maybe Roy Jones at 168. Other than that, he going to be with everybody. But I do think that Crawford could pull this fight out late. I think that Canelo is on the other side of his prime. He hasn't scored a stoppage in 4 years, and I think that he's not letting guys go the distance. I know people say that he's carrying guys. I don't believe that. I believe that we in the business of making money, and if you could score a spectacular knockout, then you will. I don't believe you just letting a grown man punch you in the face for the hell of it. I don't believe that he's carried guys for 4 straight years. I don't believe that. Nobody can convince me of that. But I do believe that fighters get up a little bit more for other fights, and you take certain fights a little bit more serious. And he's taking this fight super serious. So that's where I'm at with it. I could see that with the money that he's made and the things he's done in life, he might not be up for every camp. You might train, but it's a difference than being up and feeling threatened. And Canelo don't want to lose to a little guy. You know what I mean? He don't want to lose to a little guy. Let's just be honest. He lose to a little guy, it'll damage his legacy. He This is his chance of getting the Floyd fight back. You know what I mean? Crawford is this era's Floyd. And if he can win that fight, it's like, okay. So this is a big fight for Canelo. And and the motivation, I seen his motivation by hiring Boots. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But it didn't change my percentages and things like that. It just made me say, damn, he really want this.
Let me ask you this, because I know that you just said that, it can go the other way, meaning like, Canelo could have a piece of him taken away. Could be, because he's a great fighter anyway. So him and Boots, but what I wanted to ask, like from my perspective, is do you think this? I think this will actually really, really, really motivate Crawford. Like, oh, okay, you you brought him in. Okay, let me show you something now. So is it kind of like Crawford looks like, all right, I'm gonna beat Canelo, and in essence, it's kind of like, oh, y'all thought Boots could mess with me. Y'all thought he could get him ready for me. Nah, it's different. Do you think it's that way also?
Sure.
Yeah.
These is fighters, these prideful people, man. It got a lot of. That's why I said I'm not changing my percentage.
Mm.
It can make Canelo go up. It can make him lose his confidence or take a piece from him, and it can make Crawford say, "Okay, let me tell you something about Crawford, man. I watch Crawford. I watch how he evolved throughout the years. I've been watching him. Me, Red, and Mac been cool since way before Crawford hit the mainstream. Way before he hit the mainstream, and I watched him. Crawford is a pretty intelligent guy. He might not like try to like talk, and say different things to jump off the page at you, but he not a stupid guy, man. He's intelligent. He know Boots is the real deal. No matter what all of the public say and everybody talking, he knows it. He knows Boots is the real deal. Crawford's little brother is Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson and Boots is super cool, and Shakur Stevenson was in the amateurs with Boots. Don't you think Shakur told Bud, like, yo, bro, I love you. You my big bro, but that kid nice, bro. You gonna have to be on your game to fuck with him. You don't think Shakur told Crawford that, and you don't think he respected his opinion? You don't think that Red and Bo Mac got eyes and they know Boots is special? You don't believe that? I don't care about all this talk on the internet because they may fight. So you can't be too complimentary of a guy that you may fight. But you don't think they know that? So by him bringing Boots in, that's probably going to take Bud to another level mentally. And that's where I think that Bud win this fight. I think he got a mental edge where he's one of them guys, them rare guys that could do whatever he needs to do on the night of the fight. Where a guy may check more boxes than you, but your overall package allow you to overcome them. It's just something in your brain and in your DNA that's not going to allow you to lose to that guy. I believe Crawford have that in him. Have I seen it versus elite fighters? No, I haven't. But my guts and my instincts tell me that he got that Ray Leonard gene in him. I ain't saying he better than Leonard. Don't get me wrong. Leonard's the best I've seen in my lifetime. That Holyfield, where Bo is better than Holyfield in more categories. He checked more boxes, but Holyfield could pull it off. Where Hearns got 3, 4 inches on Leonard in height, 3, 4 inches in reach, just as sharp, bigger puncher, but Leonard could figure it out. I think Crawford may have that. Where Canelo's stronger, he's bigger, punch harder, more experience versus elite fighters. Nobody can argue that. Been at the weight longer. You can't argue that. But I think Crawford got a special thing about him. And I think that putting Boots in there probably put his mind to just a different level where he know, like, I got to come to pretty much give up my life if I have to on this night. I just believe that he got it. If he don't, you know what I'm going to say? I was wrong. Canelo beat him. There's nothing I could say. But I believe that he got it, and we just going to have to see.
Let me ask you about Boots. Obviously, this dude is I don't even know what word to describe him. He's just a little different from people that I've seen in a boxing ring. But him being in there with Canelo, Canelo is all time, all time. Like, is that gonna take Boots, you think, to like, oh, okay, you thought he was nice before. Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think what's going to take Boots to where he needs to be, and this is just my honest opinion, as if his handlers become more productive with the behind the scenes stuff. I honestly think that's the only thing that he's missing. Like just the PR, the opportunities. I don't know whose fault it is. Let me preface it. I don't know whose fault it is. I don't know his responsibility. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't. I'm not blaming anybody. But if what goes on behind the scenes matches his talent, that's all he needs. He hasn't got the opportunities. Other managers and promoters and fighters make him look bad because negotiations get leaked. It looks like certain things are happening that may not be happening. I think that is where Boots is needs an adjustment in his career to get the big opportunities and not let the PR smear campaign of always making him look bad with the opponents. And what happened with Teofimo Lopez, Vergil Ortiz, and Brian Norman? How come this didn't happen? Blah, 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 blah. That's what I think is harming Boots in the public perception. That don't got nothing to do with his ability. He been the real deal.
But
You know what I mean?
his
But in
ability.
stepping up with Canelo, I think obviously it'll help him, but he already been there. Like without me seeing the work, I'm 80, 90% sure that Canelo is going to come out and be like, oh my God, I can't, man, wow.
So
Like I'm 80,
you think both
90% sure. I don't know Canelo, never met him. I'm 80, 90% sure that Reynoso gonna be like, oh my God, this kid right here is the future. Now let's just see.
you
They
think
are
he's
they
getting
they gonna find out what we already know,
you think
Hans.
getting better though of that work, you think? Maybe a little bit, you think?
Boot?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm relatively sure he is. Yes. I'm relatively sure. Without seeing it all, I'm not saying washing him or anything, but yes, I'm relatively sure. You know, I know you can't say certain things because of your position, but you know the truth, and the truth got a way of coming out eventually. You know it. Me and you talk a lot off camera. I've seen you several times in Philly. You know the truth, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna be very complimentary of him.
Um, okay, so when I know that Boots has the talent, a lot of fighters have like talent and stuff like that. But I mean it's obviously not the level of Boots. But even a guy like Boots, I would think that even though he knows he's good, he knows he's great, he knows a lot of dudes can't mess with him. But don't you think like being with Canelo, maybe not from a technical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, he's like, yo, I just went toe to toe, got better of, or was on the same level of a pound for pound, all time great guy. Just mentally, don't you think that's gonna take his confidence to where I've been confident, but now I know nobody could really mess with me at all. Don't you think that'll take it to a next level, maybe? Or maybe tripping?
I don't think you tripping. I don't know. You know what I mean? I honestly don't know. I know that like that's something you got to ask him. To be honest with you, I really don't know. I understand what you're trying to ask me, but I really don't know because I don't like he may already be there. Like
Hmm.
he said in front of me, think he the best fighter in the world. So I don't really know if the Canelo is going to stamp his confidence. You would have to ask him that to be totally honest with you. But you're around him, ask him. Call him up and ask him and see what he say. I don't want to speak for him in that light. Like, did Canelo give you the confidence to show, to prove to the world that you're the best fighter in the world or that you on that level? Because he may already feel that way. You know what I mean? I don't know. We gotta just see.
Got it. And just my last question, he's Boots has been getting like a lot of flack for the Lima fight. Lima isn't like super well known. He's lost one fight against Aaron McKenna. And that was on like a pretty short notice. Um, it seems like him and Vergil Ortiz are on a collision course for sometime next year. And it's a terrific fight. I think it's one of the best fights in boxing. But does a part of you feel like, yeah, that's going to be one of the best fights in boxing, probably the best fight at 154. I think they're both the top guys. But the fact that neither of them has a belt kind of takes it like, I don't know how Virgil doesn't have a belt already. He's like amazing. But doesn't it make you feel like I do wish it was like a unification though, instead of just two really top level guys fighting?
I do think that's a pretty big fight to be a non-title fight. But again, that's what I mean by the adjustments with the team. Um, like I think it would have been cool if Boots would have won into a title shot at 54. He's already big. You know what I mean? Just leave 47 and go right into the title shot. Like when you move up, just go right into his title shot. And Vergil Ortiz, I said the same thing, bro. I'm like, how's this guy not a champion? He's been through three weight divisions, 140, 147, 154, and never had a title shot. It's crazy.
Should have had
I
him.
don't, but I don't know what's going on with people's team behind the scenes and the sanctioning bodies. It's a lot that goes on that we don't know if you're not part of the team. So you can't really comment on it because you don't know what happened. You don't know what the sanctioning bodies promised. You don't really know. But I think it would suck if it's a non-title fight. One of them guys should be world champion or at least get a shot at a belt. I don't know. I think they're gonna be on the collision course. But bro, I don't hold my breath for nothing in this era. I don't. I don't hold my breath for nothing in this era. I think that everything in this era is like play it safe. Let's wait it out. Let's see what's going on. Nobody wants to fight a guy at their best. the other teams put their certain things out there publicly, and then behind the scenes they say things. So I don't know. I don't want to speak for any teams, but I don't know if that fight is going to take place. Y'all may think that, but somebody behind the scenes could throw a monkey wrench in the fight if they not confident in their guy winning the fight. I personally think that Boots will win the fight, but he got to win the fight in the ring. You know, we can't just win fights on paper. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I have no idea, but I don't hold my breath, bro. We've been waiting for Tank and Shakur for how long? Seriously. We've been waiting for Devin and Tiafimo for how long? Seriously. We've been Boots and Vergil Ortiz was at 47 together. It never happened. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, we don't get these fights in boxing now. Johnny Beck and Adames yell at each other every day on Twitter and don't nobody never fight. You know, I could go down the list of guys that we all think should fight, but the fights never happen. They just don't. Usyk is rare, and that's why he's rare. Earl and Bud took 6 years to fight. 6 years, man. I'm just being honest with you. It's a different era. It's a different time. It's a different mentality. You know, it's play it safe. Get your money. You know, don't worry about the fans. And I'm not mad at that. I'm just calling it the way I see it. So if you tell me that Boots and Vergil Ortiz is going to fight, until I see promo, until I see a signed contract, it's not going to be believable to me. You know, I just seen them argue. Somebody was arguing with Vergil Ortiz and Xander Zayas, and they were like, Puerto Rico versus Mexico, blah, 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 going to defend. I'm like, he's not fighting him in his first title defense. That's not the mantra. That's not how this era works. Do y'all really think the Top Rank will put Xander Zayas in the ring with Vergil Ortiz? Vergil Ortiz is not from Top Rank. Vergil Ortiz will be the favorite in the fight. And Xander Zayas has not had one title defense. The kid going to deserve a title defense. Do you really think he's going to fight him in his first title defense? No way. You know, everybody just running and talking. I'm like, that's not the fight that gets me in this era. You know, so Boots and Vergil Ortiz, I know it's a super fight. I know it's a great fight, but I got to see it get made before I get excited, because I just know what teams do in this era. They like, somebody usually screws it up. And I'm not saying anybody on Boots' team or anybody on Vergil Ortiz' team. I'm just talking about that era in general. Somebody will act confident publicly, and then privately they'll throw a monkey wrench in the fight, and the fight won't happen. But if it happens, all being on the level, from what I've seen, it's a great fight, but I favor Boots to beat Vergil Ortiz. And I think Vergil Ortiz is the truth. But don't throw out the guy, Sebastian Fundora. We saying Ortiz and Boots is the best guys in the division. Somebody going to have to see Fundora. He's good, and he's getting better, and he's the WBC champion, and he's looking like he's improving, and he's 6'6", and he's a southpaw, and he's coming. And somebody got to deal with him also. We can't just give guys credit for being the best without them proving that they the best. Do I think Boots is the best at 154? Yes. But I would like to see somebody take care of Fundora too. I know he got stopped by Brian Mendoza a couple of years ago, but I would like to see somebody take care of him too. Like, he looks good now. I was really impressed with his last couple of fights.
Got it. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you, man.